Hello all, I'm Kenneth Bokor and the co-host of the Model 3 Owners Club show. Hopefully you've been enjoying our shows along with Trevor's updates and topical videos. I thought I'd try my hand at some short videos as well, however focused on different topics that look at aspects of the electric vehicle revolution. Yes, I believe we are at the revolutionary phase of the electric car and vehicle industry. I think it's safe to say that the Model 3 announcement earlier this year was an industry catalyst, or the start of the EV tsunami, and a foreshadowing of things to come. By the way, when I talk about EVs here, I'm really only focusing on BEVs, or battery electric vehicles. I personally feel that BEVs will have a larger impact than other technologies, especially over the long term. Look at what just a few short months since the Model 3 announcement has done. Almost all the major automobile manufacturers are or will produce at least one model of an all-electric vehicle. Some are creating entire model lines for future products. If I would have told you just 5 short years ago that this was going to happen, you probably would have thought I was crazy. Since the Tesla Roadster, Model S and X have come to markets, Elon's dream of bringing electric cars to the masses is one step closer with the Model 3 offering. And with it and other vehicles over the next few years, we will see hundreds of thousands of people adopt EVs into their lifestyles, more than there has ever been before. And like these masses, we all have our reasons that Model 3 reservationists want this car. Maybe it's to lessen our automobile fuel and maintenance costs, or to drive a vehicle that offers great performance and handling, or maybe just because the Model 3 will look great and it'll be a very cool car. Whatever the reason, we are also participating in something bigger, which you may have heard about, something called climate change mitigation. Since efforts around the globe have been working on lessening the impact of greenhouse gases, EVs will play larger roles in our overall achievement of a positive outcome of climate change. The electric cars on the road today and coming are being powered by electricity that on average creates significantly less emissions than just a few short years ago. This trend is likely to continue with the lowering of costs by solar-produced energy and deployment of energy capacity going up. Additionally, most modern countries are or have a plan to phase out electricity produced by coal energy plants, one of the largest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions. Now, with the recent US election results, the US phase out could take a little longer than originally planned. We'll just have to wait and see. Looking at a study from the University of Michigan's Energy Institute, it attributes the decline in emissions from electricity generation to the increase in renewable energy deployment and the shift away from coal towards cleaner alternatives like natural gas, hydro, tidal, solar, and wind energy production. This chart produced from this study predicts that the emissions from the transportation sector, by the way, everything is included from planes to trucks and passenger cars, will surpass those from electricity generation by the end of this year in the US. Therefore, it may take some time before EVs have a significant impact. But the fact that electricity generation is becoming cleaner worldwide is a good sign that the impact of EVs will be more significant. Ultimately, it means that vehicles with combustion engines that we replace by electric powertrains have a greater impact on emissions today than ever before. This view is shared by many countries who have recently announced intentions to ban the sale of internal combustion engine, or ICE, vehicles in the future, as well as cities and towns that offer incentives and advantages for the use of EVs in their urban centers to curb smog, noise, and other pollutants affecting people. More and more personal use vehicles are being viewed and evaluated against climate change mitigation targets. Now, for nations to meet these climate change mitigation goals, they will likely require that transportation-related greenhouse gas emissions begin to decline within the next 2 decades and then continue to fall. EVs play an important role in reducing these emissions. Now, the good news for us EV prospects, and some of you EV owners out there already, is that the trade-offs between costs and emissions are becoming more affordable to a larger consumer base. A U.S. study by a group representing environmental science and technologies looked at various automobile technologies and forecasted which vehicle technologies would enable emission targets for 2040 and 2050, which are designed around a 2 degree centigrade limit to be met. Many vehicles were represented in this study, including early estimates for the Chevy Bolt and the Tesla Model 3. Costs of ownership were developed for a 14-year lifetime at 12,100 miles driven annually and an 8% discount rate. Now, some baselines were created for emission intensity of electricity and plotted against greenhouse gas targets in 2030, 2040, and 2050, which would meet holding global warming below the 2 degree centigrade limit. As you can see by this chart, the Model 3 is estimated to achieve 2040 emission targets as well as maintain low life cycle costs. These costs are in US dollars. Since it has a higher starting price than most of the other EVs and hybrids meeting similar emission targets, it's estimated to be in the lower range of life cycle costs, but not the lowest. Further findings of lower greenhouse gas emissions are estimated for the Model 3 as it is represented on this chart under the compact BEV column. Factoring in production and operating energies and emissions, you can see that the Model 3 is estimated to meet 2040 targets when generally released next year. Overall costs shown in this graph under the same section column place the Model 3 at the low level with the majority of costs associated to the higher initial purchase price. As the world moves to lower carbon energy generation sources, the impact of battery electric vehicles becomes a larger and more important part of meeting 2050 greenhouse gas emission targets. The only way to meet these targets is by transitioning away from ICE vehicles to battery electric vehicles, and even plug-in hybrid electric vehicles too. The bonus is that we don't necessarily have to pay more to do this. It's mine and Trevor's hope that you are looking at the bigger picture in doing our part to help fight climate change. Whether you believe in climate change, the EV revolution is real and it's here to stay. Electric energies will continue to be produced by more cleaner technologies and processes, and EV adoption will grow much further and faster. We hope you feel good about your decision to reserve a Model 3, or the steps you've taken if you already have a battery electric vehicle today. The Tesla Model 3 will be a great, revolutionary car for many reasons. I hope I've given you just a couple more reasons today. We'd love your comments and questions. Contact us by email at m3ocshow@gmail.com, through Twitter at Model 3 Owners Club, on our web or forum, model3ownersclub.com, and by Facebook at Model 3 Owners Club. Please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'm Kenneth Bokor, and thanks for watching.